Welcome to Future Horizons, the Tempest podcast. I'm your host, Sevi Watmo. In December 2022, the Prime Ministers of UK, Italy and Japan announced that the three countries were to work together on the Global Combat Air Programme, a new partnership and ambitious endeavour between the UK, Japan and Italy to deliver the next generation of combat air fighter jets. The programme builds on the substantial progress already made in the UK by Team Tempest to research, evaluate and develop a host of next-generation future combat air systems capabilities. In the months since the announcement, the government and industry partners from across three nations have been working together to set out long-term working arrangements and maturity of the concept and capability requirements for the next-generation combat aircraft. This close collaboration has seen the partners come together at the international DSEI exhibitions in Tokyo in March and London in September to promote the aspirations for GCAP. As part of this most recent event, we took the opportunity to speak with senior responsible owners from across the UK Team Tempest partners to hear their thoughts on the progress made since last year's announcement and the exciting future that lies ahead for the programme.
Yeah, so DSEI 2023, I think what's most exciting for me is we have got the joint government and industry team from UK, Italy and Japan together in London. We're all excited to host the programme at a stand right in the heart of the DSEI Excel Centre. It's really buzzing with visitors. We've got hundreds of visitors from really important international partners coming to see what GCAP, Global Combat Air Programme, has to offer. And what we can exhibit here is this teamwork, that we are now a programme that is up and running, and DSEI gives us a chance to talk about that.
These are the words of Richard Burton, FCAS Programme Director for the UK MOD, describing the GCAP presence at DSEI. We asked Richard to explain the significance of the Global Combat Air Programme in the context of delivering a future combat air system and the role Team Tempest now has to play in the new international programme.
So the future combat air system is the military capability requirement that I've been asked to deliver. Team Tempest was a creation of the UK government with our UK industrial partners. That's essentially to build the UK's skills and technology to contribute to a future programme. And then, of course, in order to deliver that, we're partnering internationally. The Global Combat Air Programme is a programme with Italy and Japan that delivers the core platform at the heart of a future combat air system. There will be other aspects, I'm sure, of a future combat air system that we're working on. We're exploring the opportunities there. But at the heart of it, we still see it's really important to have a core platform, and that's what's being delivered by the Global Combat Air Programme.
Richard went on to explain the significance of the programme to the UK.
So the Global Combat Air Programme represents three really important aspects for the UK. Firstly, in the military capability sense, the threat to the UK, our interests, our allies and friends over the next few decades, we can see accelerating and proliferating. And military capability of this nature, the Global Combat Air Programme, able to defend the UK, able to control the air, able to operate in the most challenging environments, it becomes incredibly important for our military capability. Secondly, internationally, in a strategic sense, and the Global Combat Air Programme, it represents an opportunity for the UK to work with partners across the world on a programme of this scale and nature. It's bridging the Euro-Atlantic and Indo-Pacific with partnering with Italy and with Japan. And this is a unique partnership that's stepping outside, I think, most people's experience in this sort of programs. And it's bringing the best together from those three countries. So it gives us a leadership role in a really major defence industrial program of this nature. And then lastly, in industrial and prosperity terms, combat air has always been important to the skills, the technology in the UK. It's a huge employer all around the United Kingdom. And it's really important to invest in a program of this nature for the UK to remain at the cutting edge of these technologies and combat air skills. We're already employing over 3,000 people in the UK. We've already employed over 1,000 apprentices in the UK during this time.
The GCAP announcement in December 2022 was also the impetus for industrial collaboration across the UK, Italy and Japan, as the FCAS Integration Director for BAE Systems, Gareth Brogan, explains.
GCAP builds on the substantial progress already made in the UK by BAE Systems, Leonardo UK, MBDA UK and Rolls-Royce and the UK Ministry of Defence, who've been working in partnership since before 2018, a partnership referred to as Team Tempest. And that was to research, evaluate and develop a whole range of next generation, what we refer to as future combat air system capabilities. So GCAP actually expands that internationally and sees us working with industry partners across Mitsubishi Heavy Industries in Japan and Leonardo in Italy to lead the development of this future combat aircraft. I think for me the significance of what was announced at the end of last year was that really was the start of a once-in-a-generation opportunity to develop international combat air capability. For me, what's really struck me since that point is the way both the trilateral governments and trilateral industry partners have seized that opportunity and built momentum across all aspects of the programme. We've managed to progress some really exciting developments with our international partners, and what characterises things more than anything, I think, from that point for me is pace and the energy, the energetic response, if you like, from that, the significance of that opportunity that the announcement represented.
The pace of the collaboration and the positive impact it's having on GCAP is something that Phil Townley, Director of Future Programmes Rolls-Royce Defence, is also keen to highlight.
So since we publicly announced that the three nations are coming together to form the GCAP partnership, our engineers, our programme managers, our business professionals have been working together both face-to-face, using our digital tools and methods to think about how we're going to deliver this programme at the pace we need. The first few days, first few weeks, first few months, it's all about collaboration. It's understanding how we work together. How do we get those cultural differences understood? How do we find a way of operating smoothly? Then we can think about syncing our processes, understanding if our tools connect. But what we're seeing to date has been significantly faster than what we've seen on previous programs. We're seeing real great progress.
This approach to collaboration has also impressed BAE Systems' Gareth Brogan.
We've also made significant progress in terms of trying to establish the delivery arrangements for the future programme internationally. It's fair to say that's one of the core components of learning across the international partners, that we really have to set the programme up in a way that it can move at pace, it's got real clarity of decision making, and can really rise to the challenge of meeting both the programmatic requirements as well as the international government requirements. So a lot of energy and effort and progress has been made around that collaboration arrangement and the future construct for its delivery going forward.
Andrew Howard, Director of Future Combat Air UK at Leonardo, explains how technology research undertaken by Team Tempest and the subsequent collaboration with all the international partners is not only enabling the programme's sensor capabilities to meet the required timelines, but is also informing the allocation of work.
So since 2018, the UK Tempest programme has been developing niche areas of specific technology that we wanted to incorporate into our future GCAP thinking. The very strong participation and sharing that's been taking place throughout the last 12 months with our Italian and Japanese partners has proven that those Tempest technologies were the right things to be doing. And what we've been doing is refining concepts, clarifying how those concepts will deliver requirements, and most importantly, actively sitting together, collaborating constantly as a set of engineering teams to refine and share best practice and best ideas. So against the very challenging timescales, the radar is maturing in line with the required expectations. Our understanding of systems integration for our MFP concept, which is the multifunction processor, is moving forward in the required timeline. And we're making work allocation conversations take place, which is forcing us to understand who is going to do what. And with prioritization, we're able to allocate tasks with more certainty to create more certainty of outcomes, which allows us to focus more resources on things that are going to follow through to conclusion.
Phil Townley from Rolls-Royce has also seen the benefits of continuity in technology development within the power and propulsion work stream.
Most of the technology development has been continuing since 2018 in our Tempest contract. That is going really well. Significant number of tests and rig programs performing all across the country and in other parts of the globe. And the evidence from those test results is coming back in. Some of those technologies we'll be taking forward into the product, and others we won't be. But that knowledge and that learning is proving vital to give us the capability we need in the future.
The ongoing pace of progress was reflected during DSEI in London with an announcement on the international effects domain. Chris Allard, Head of FCAS for NBDA, explains more.
Okay, so today we're at DSEI and we've signed the International Effects Domain Collaboration Agreement between NBDA UK, NBDA Italy and Mitsubishi Electric. That collaboration agreement will see the true start of the international work in the effects domain, supporting our lead system integrators in working on weapon integration and looking at effects management. From an NBDA perspective, we'll be building on the joint venture that already exists, and then we'll be adding Mitsubishi Electric to that through the collaboration agreement to really allow us to look at the current and future technologies that we need to bring from a weapons domain into the GCAP platform.
But the pace of progress the programme has experienced is not just focused on the technological development, but also on the processes and ways of working. Here's Gareth Brogan from BAE Systems.
We're also investing heavily, both in terms of human capital investment as well as physical investment, in the exploitation of all things digital. Now that's a huge, complicated subject, but in simple layperson's terms, changing the way that we work and exploiting the technological advancements, not only in the complexity of the product, but in the systems, the processes, the methods that we employ in its development. Those advancements offer huge opportunity to not only just to do things quicker, but also to remove things historically that we've had to go through. Things like physical prototyping of systems and products. We can do those far quicker in a digital environment now. I mean, to characterize it generally, we can do things in minutes, hours and days that previously would have taken days, months and years. And so, you know, they are profoundly different arrangements that aren't hypothetical. These are real things that allow us to build that confidence in the forward program. So on all of those fronts, I've seen progress, tremendous progress in the last 15 months in my tenure in the program, and I'm optimistic that we'll continue that pace going forward.
And the benefits of this approach are being seen across GCAP. Here's Phil Townley from Rolls-Royce again.
So I can give you one specific example of how we're seeing real progress of evidential pace quicker than history. To get to our first collaboration agreement, a process which is complicated, in-depth, we did it in about a third to half the time we've done on historic programs. That's showing the ability of the three nations to really come together and find solutions rapidly.
With the programme and its technological developments continuing at pace, DSEI also presented an opportunity to ask the partners to reflect on the role of the Global Combat Air Programme in the context of the current defence landscape, as well as the future battle space. For Gareth Brogan from BAE Systems, this means doing things differently to meet the complex demands of a data-congested battle space.
So the future operating environment as we foresee it will be fundamentally different to anything that we've seen before. It'll be challenging, it'll be complex, and probably characterised more than anything by being extremely data heavy and increasingly digital in its operation. To be able to operate in this sort of environment, obviously GCAP needs to be different. It needs to hold a unique role that really is ahead of anything that's come before it. It'll have to exploit more advanced technology. If you think of some of the existing systems in service today, 30 or 40 years have passed, and you think of the evolution of technology over that period of time. So we've got a huge opportunity to exploit those advancements in technology and be able to collect and use data in a very different way to ensure that we stay ahead of the ever-evolving threats. So to meet that kind of challenge, of course, that means we have to do things differently also, changing the way we work, developing these advanced technologies and tools and de-risking them before we have to really exercise them for real.
Leonardo's Andrew Howard also sees data as an important factor in ensuring that GCAP offers air superiority in the future battle space.
So what GCAP represents is a recognition that the future battle space is dominated by, as ever, air superiority and air dominance, and a growing recognition of the information battle space. The capacity to share vast amounts of data quickly is ever more important with more complex systems present in the battlefield. So fighter aircraft that can both own and dominate the airspace it operates in and manage the flow of information in that space is critical. And an aircraft that's been designed from the inside out with a very sophisticated and broad set of sensors will be a transformative capability for the air forces that operate it in the future.
Phil Townley from Rolls-Royce went on to outline the increasing demands on power that a sixth-generation aircraft at the heart of the Global Combat Air Programme would require.
So when we talk about sixth-generation capabilities and future capabilities more generally that we're looking to now deploy into the future battle space, the levels of communications, the levels of electrical power needed to make that happen, the effects we're looking to deliver need different power sources. Rolls-Royce, leading on part of our domain and power and propulsion, is able to provide that full electrical power, thermal management, and propulsion for the air vehicle. Fourth gen was about providing the propulsion you need, getting the air vehicle to where you want it to then deploy the sensors. But the future requires a step change in that electrical power, and that can only be done through an integrated system that we're providing.
Finally, Chris Allard from MBDA highlighted the importance of the ease with which you could upgrade GCAP, not just from an effects perspective, but also across the wider capability to ensure that the programme delivers freedom of action and freedom of modification.
When we look into the future, particularly in the horizon for GCAP, we can see the threat landscape is changing quickly, dramatically, and what that means for a GCAP perspective, it gives us a real opportunity between MBDA and the rest of the GCAP enterprise to develop and deliver a platform that's easily upgradable from the outset, that enables the platform and the weapons to work together to both meet and outpace the current and the future threats. From an MBDA perspective, it means that we need to be able to integrate the weapons cheaper, quickly and more effectively, and that's both our current weapons and our future weapons that we're currently working on that will come into service in the 30s and 40s. Internationally, GCAP is clearly a vehicle to build international relations, both with our current partners and future potential partners. It gives us an agility to respond to future threats, working together, whilst also maintaining the important freedom of action and freedom of modification that all of the GCAP partner nations need.
Earlier in the year, the UK Defence Procurement Minister stated that GCAP is setting the standard for how the future might look. We closed our time at DSEI by asking the Team Tempest senior responsible owners for their vision for the future of GCAP. First up, Richard Burton spoke to the importance of interoperability.
I think the Global Combat Air Programme is a great opportunity for British defence industry, and it sets us on a world stage, working with partners around the globe to deliver cutting-edge military capability. It's an incredibly exciting programme because we can essentially determine what is best for the programme to deliver at real pace, to give ourselves military capability that can retain operational advantage over time, that gives us the technology and skills that underpins that, and really to deliver a programme jointly with partners who have very, very shared interests with us. They want to deliver a really important operational capability. Sovereignty and freedom of action is important to each of the partners. And of course, we all have an incredibly strong relationship with the United States through NATO or bilaterally. And we want to make sure that we have a military capability delivered through GCAP that contributes to the broader NATO or coalition military capability alongside our US friends. So interoperability is really important too.
Next, we spoke to Andrew Howard, who says the programme will change perceptions on future complex aircraft developments.
So looking to the future, our vision is that we're going to deliver world-changing capability in the required timelines with a profoundly integrated team of industrial partners, closely collaborating national partners, and a growing export opportunity with other nations in the world. We think it'll set the standards for future aircraft systems. We think it'll provide a complete change of thinking of how you operate combat air systems as part of a package of capabilities. The information sharing will be unprecedented. The aircraft will never reach its full operating capability because it will be constantly improving. It'll be a never-ending spiral of betterment, which will be an attractive proposition for investing nations. And people will feel that something's changed when they buy into GCAP over previous generations of aircraft.
Chris Allard believes the programme will be a showcase for ingenuity and military capability.
So our vision for GCAP is to help deliver the programme as the best combat air platform possible, one that gives the UK and its allies a battle-winning advantage in the future combat environment. It will showcase the best of our technologies, it will enable us to develop a new generation of engineers, and it will become a cornerstone for UK military cooperation and support around the world. From an MBDA perspective, working with our partners in Japan and in Italy, we'll bring some of the most advanced capabilities together with the integration and employment of the complex weapons and the effects. In the international effects domain, with our GCAP partners, this forms the basis of interoperability across the system of systems environment, providing network-enabled distributed capability across the air dominant space, and it will give the ability to deliver lethality at will.
For Phil Townley, GCAP is about ensuring sovereign capability that can provide opportunities for generations to come.
The GCAP programme enables us to have national sovereign combat capability, which protects our nation and provides a sustainable industrial base for years to come. For our armed forces, this is going to provide capability that takes us into the next generation, that supports us for the next 30, 40, 50 years. It replaces Typhoon. This will fly alongside Joint Strike Fighter. This gives us the capability, the winning battle edge, and it will support and protect our nation and our allies. So it does that. But from a business lens, this enables a national sovereign capability. If we want to retain with a seat at the top table as one of the few nations that can deliver full system capability, then we need to be in this programme. We need to deliver this programme. We need to deliver to our commitments. And that will be great for business, great for the companies like Rolls-Royce, Leonardo, BAE Systems, MBDA involved, but also our supply chain, the small companies, the universities. It will feed the ecosystem and provide jobs and opportunities for generations to come.
And we leave the final comments to Gareth Brogan, who describes why GCAP can be a programme to be proud of and an inspiration to others.
Great question, sure. The superordinate goal for GCAP is to deliver the military capability that our multinational customers require in 2035. That's really clear. So what does that mean? For me, that means we have to break the schedule and cost curve of these increasingly complex and integrated systems through the way we exploit digital, the way we change the way we work, and for me, most importantly, the way we leverage the international collaboration and work together. It's obviously also important that the programme delivers national value to all of the partner nations involved through the development of capability, technology, skills and talent. So we want GCAP not only to deliver that military capability and national value, but to really inspire the next generation of technologists and engineers who ultimately will build and design and eventually operate the future combat air system. I honestly believe this will make a big impact on the world stage. And as a nation, as a set of international partners, we want to be proud of this flagship programme that we've created.
Join us again for the next episode of Future Horizons, the Tempest podcast.